Gotham Knights has been out for about 30 days now. We have 200 to 300 total gameplay hours. We've had a few updates. I think it's about time to give our 100% honest, complete, full review about how I feel about the game. What I like, what I don't like. Hopefully it gives you better insight on whether or not you want to purchase Gotham Knights for yourself. I'm going to tell you all of the things that it's really good at, because there are certainly a lot of things that it is good at, some things that it certainly needs work on, and of course whether or not Gotham Knights is a game that you should purchase, if it's even worth playing. We're going to cover all that stuff in today's video. We're going to cover 8 categories: the story, the gameplay, traversal, how you get around the world itself, the loot in the game, the performance of the game, end game, and the potential of Gotham Knights. And that's going to give us our overall score on how I feel about Gotham Knights and how good the game actually is. I think one of the biggest selling points for Gotham Knights is the story. Obviously, Batman is dead. In comes 4 inexperienced heroes that really haven't worked together. Are they going to be able to take over where Batman left off? There is one main story, 3 sub-stories, and the 4 characters, along with the character progression, the interactions, everything with the story, with the Court of Owls and the main story, the 3 sub-stories with Harley Quinn, Clayface, and Mr. Freeze. I think all of them are very fantastically written. The dialogue between each of the characters, watching how each player, each character progresses in his or her particular role in the game and in Gotham as a hero is absolutely fantastic. I loved pretty much everything with the story. Now, you could say the story is a tad bit predictable in how it turns out, but how it is written, I think, is fantastic. It keeps me very engaged in everything that is going on. I love the dialogue. I've actually done it almost 4 full times playthrough. That's how much I really enjoyed the story. So I certainly can appreciate everything that they did with that and all of the little nuances that went into the story. There were a couple things that I could say that I could nitpick about, like Kurt Langstrom and Man-Bat. If you don't know who they are, the connection between the two really wasn't there in the game. To me, I was a little bit disappointed with that, but again, it might be just a little nitpicking. But other than that, I think it was absolutely fantastic with everything they did. So as far as the story goes, we got to definitely give this an 8 out of 10. Now, along with the story, my favorite thing about Gotham Knights is going to be the gameplay itself, because to me, that's what's the most important. Is the game fun to play? And I certainly think it is. This is a different combat system than you're probably used to, ability-based combat system. Each of the 4 characters has 8 different distinct abilities. They also have skills that affect their gameplay. Now, the heavy and the ranged attacks can be a little spammy, a little basic, a little easy to use, but how they interact with the abilities and the skills itself make the game very diverse and the combat very diverse. They also have co-op, which is certainly a lot of fun, being able to play with your friends. We have a new game mode coming November 29th, 4-player co-op system, which would certainly be a lot of fun. I really enjoy the dialogue between the characters when they are not only in activities or in story, but just how they talk to each other when they're at the Belfry. I think that is a lot of fun. One drawback to the actual gameplay itself is that when you start the game, each of the 4 characters, you're basically starting with nothing. No skills, hardly any abilities. And it can be a little painstaking trying to grind and get these skills and get these abilities unlocked. Now, skills transfer, abilities do not though. So you have to unlock the abilities for all 4 of the characters, and that can be a little painstaking, but I personally don't mind it, and I do enjoy doing that sort of grindy type of activity. But the fact that each character is so distinct and different. One's good in hacking, one's good in stealth, ranged attacks, team healing, things like that. The different and distinct gameplay mechanics between each of the characters. Definitely amazing. Gameplay is a lot of fun. 9 out of 10. The first thing I think Gotham Knights missed the mark with is going to be Traversal. How do you get around this big city of Gotham to all these activities? We do unlock fast travel points kind of in mid-game, a little bit painstaking to do, but not necessarily that big a deal. Each of the 4 characters does have a distinct different mode of flight, but each one of these modes is, to me, very, very slow. To get from point A to point B in the air, and especially with Robin, is incredibly slow. On the ground, we have the bat cycle. Now, when you're riding the bat cycle, it does appear that the game is moving really fast, but in actuality, it doesn't feel like you're going anywhere. It's really awkward looking at the world around you and then looking at the ground and kind of seeing that the bat cycle isn't moving for some reason. The grappling is terrible at best. Auto-targeting, you can't really grapple to the exact point you want to most of the time. Sometimes it grapples you behind you when you want to go forward. Walking on rails sometimes can be, I don't know, get you stuck in situations where you can't jump off of them. So overall, how you get about this world is really less to be desired for me. I don't enjoy it a whole lot. It's not completely awful, but still 5 out of 10. Now let's talk about the city of Gotham itself, the entire world in which all of these activities take place. And I think it is absolutely fantastically done, incredibly detailed. And I'm not the world's biggest expert on Gotham, but it feels somewhat historically accurate. The details in not only the ground and the buildings and the sky and all of that stuff, absolutely amazing. They got a lot of really good landmarks in there that I really do enjoy, like hidden and tucked away in this. The pedestrians that are talking and walking about the street, I think are absolutely cool. This is a game only at night. So when you come out, you only see Gotham at night where it's dark and dingy and it's raining. And so all of that looks absolutely fantastic. One thing, I guess, bad that I could say about it is that it's very underutilized. There's a lot of parts of this city that are absolutely beautiful that we don't get any interaction with, and so that's a little bit disappointing. But the whole entire world itself, absolutely amazingly done. Big props to them. I really think it's beautiful. So 8 out of 10. Now let's talk about the loot in the game. There are certainly really good things and really bad things. Really good things about this, well, it's the customization. We have 11 different suits that we can customize with different arms, legs, masks, all the different colorways. We have transmogs, which is just like a basic suit that you can change. 16 of them currently. We know that there are more, just like there are more colorways. So the customization aspect is really cool. Being able to change your style, your color for any of the 4 particular characters, that is certainly a lot of fun. But that's as far as the customization good part of it goes. The rest of it is not so good. When you're in these activities, a lot of these meaningless icons pop up. You collect them. You don't know what they are. If there are particular gear pieces that you are looking for, you don't know where to find them, how to find them, or what it takes to even get them. We get this salvage, which is absolutely meaningless numbers in which you need in order to craft something, but you really don't need anything unless it's nth metal and crafting legendary pieces. You also can't customize suit styles for the best suits. So if it's locked to a particular suit style, that's the one you're stuck with. The mods, certainly less to be desired. Very cluttered and confusing on how you get them, what you even use them for, or how they even make you better. Conditional stats on each of the pieces are pretty cool, kind of give it a unique style, but there's a lot of confusing numbers on the suits that nobody really knows what they mean. Maybe they mean something, but either way though, as far as the gear goes, customization is cool. The rest of it, I don't really like a whole lot, so we're gonna go with 6 out of 10. I think another one of the things that is holding Gotham Knights back just a little bit is going to be the performance of the game itself. Now let's first talk about on console, because I do have it both on console and on PC. Now on console, it is locked to 30 frames per second. And no optimization either, and I know that that is certainly disappointing for a lot of people. Being on next-gen consoles, it's kind of strange even to me to think that a game of this high caliber could be locked to only 30 frames per second. But when it works, it's actually not that bad. The 30 frames per second do actually work, but the problem is when it works, and there has been, at least on console in my experience, certainly some issues, especially with frame drops and game crashes. We've had 2 updates since the game has come out, and on console, I still get massive amounts of frame drops like this, and the game crashes quite often over on console. So being that it's 30 frames per second, no optimization options, I think that that is a little bit less than desired. But once these bugs are fixed and the frame drops are fixed, I think it'll be fine. Just wish it was 60 frame. Over on PC, kind of a similar story. It's just a little bit running, a little bit performance-wise, a little bit better over there. So overall, we're going to give it a 5 out of 10 on the performance. Now, to me, I think the biggest thing that is holding Gotham Knights back is the end game. You know, what is the end game? I mean, what are we trying to achieve, or what is our goal? What are we working towards? And it doesn't feel like anything is there. When you first start the game, the first couple hours of the game, when you have no skills, no abilities, no anything, it is very difficult, and probably the most difficult that you'll ever face in the entire game. When you get towards the end, not even at the highest level, it becomes very easy, very, very easy. And you don't need the best gear. You don't even need the best skills. You don't even need any skills in order to complete all of the activities on the hardest difficulty with the hardest activities. And so to me, that is certainly missing as of making this video. Now we do have a new game update coming, Heroic Assault. Now that could be geared towards endgame, but as of right now, the game is way too easy. Way too easy. There's really no strategy when it comes to how do I want to complete this activity or complete this. You can basically just go into anything on the hardest difficulty and just do it without a problem. And to me, it is really missing. You know, what am I working towards? Why do I want to get this piece of gear or this suit or do this build to help me complete this? None of that is there. You could just do anything with basic gear on the hardest difficulty. And so this is, I really hope that they do make Heroic Assault very difficult and maybe add some content that is more towards end game and that we need these high level pieces for. But right now, end game is not there whatsoever. 3 out of 10. I certainly get super excited when we start talking about the potential of this game. All of the doors that they have opened for future heroes and future villains and case files and DLC packs. The potential for everything that they could add to this game is certainly there. And so I know that some of it might be high hopes. There's been a lot of people that have said, and even them that have said, you know, this is not a live service type of game. So how much DLC content are we gonna possibly get? I don't know. We are getting a DLC pack, like I've said many times, in a new game mode. So I think the potential is there, but there are so many hints throughout the entire game. We've done a speculation video over like what heroes should come. Renee Montoya, perfectly set up to be a new hero as the question. So many case files, which you can see with Two-Face and Killer Croc. There is so much here and so much potential for this game that can be added later on. I think it could last for years if they want to and do it right. Who knows it'll happen, but the potential itself, 9 out of 10. So to sum up everything, if you want a fantastic story in a absolutely beautiful world with some amazing gameplay, very diverse gameplay between all 4 of the characters, ability-based gameplay, so much customization, I certainly think that this game is for you. Now, there are a few drawbacks to it. Like I said, it is a tad bit underperforming when it comes to current state of games that are out there right now. The end game is not there, and it can get a little stale and a little old. The loot system, while the customization is really cool, I mean, I really enjoy that, but the rest of the loot system is an absolute mess, and that certainly needs to be fixed. The potential for the game is definitely there. And so overall, I think the game is fun. It is incredibly fun, and I do enjoy everything that this game has to offer. And so if you are, you know, a fan of Gotham, fan of DC, fan of these sort of heroes, and you want a different play style, you know, with a good story and a beautiful world, this is the perfect game for you. But with all that being said, overall, the game is a 6.6 out of 10, which I don't want to say is the greatest game in the world, but it's certainly not the worst, and it's certainly a lot of fun. And the things that are holding this game back or bringing down the score, like I said, one hugely is the end game. Another one is a little bit of the performance. Hopefully they get some of that stuff polished up. The loot is, again, like I said other times, it is a mess. So there are some ways to obviously make the game better, and I think they will, and I think they will get that, and I think it's worth it. For sure. 100%, no doubt about it. But anyways, that is how I feel about Gotham Knights and my review over Gotham Knights. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? And hopefully y'all have a good week. And I see everybody again soon. Hopefully this helped y'all. Y'all take it easy. We are out. Peace.